So the most basic forms of pitches in softball are your fast pitch, change up, curve, drop, and rise balls. But the ones I'll be teaching you are going to be the fast pitch and the change up, because those are the two most basic forms, and it has the same form, same wind up, and almost identical release. The only difference is the way you grip the ball. So we're going to talk a little bit about that right now.
Go.
So one of the most important rules in softball when it comes to pitching is that before you release it, both feet have to be on the mound. So when you start your windup, you want to make sure, say the mound is right here. I like to start with my foot open to the catcher a little bit, but on the mound, and then my foot just touching the back of the mound. And so the reason why I like my foot open is because when I kick off, it forces me to open my body up, allowing me to the full windup without having my arm hitting my leg. And that happens a lot when you start with both feet pointing, because then you have to remember to turn your foot, and a lot of the times you won't remember and you'll end up hitting the back of your leg if you don't remember to open up. So keeping that in mind, all the momentum comes from your legs, so you want to have them slightly bent, but not too bent. You want them mostly straight but slightly bent, so then you can push off. So keeping them slightly bent. You want to make sure your back is staying straight the whole time. You don't want to be leaning too far forward or too far back. That comes later with the different pitches that you'll be doing, but this is just the basic fastball. So you want to make sure your back is straight and that all the momentum again is coming from your legs. And again, with the grip, you want to make sure that your fingers are along the C seam with your thumb following on that same seam. And a lot of the times when you're watching softball on TV, or you'll have people telling you that you want to get a routine in, and they call that the dance, and that is just what they do before they actually wind up, and it's the movements you'll see. What I do, I like to just keep it simple, do a little simple rock forward, and then bring it back, because if you have too much movement, that's a distraction, and it can completely mess up your windup, and it'll mess up your form, and you won't be pitching any strikes. So you want to just keep it simple, both feet on the mound, bring it back. Now when you bring it back, you want to make sure your arm is completely straight, going back in a straight line, because when you go into the windup, which is called, a lot of the time it's called the windmill, if your arm is not going straight back, then it won't follow a circle. It will follow a circle, but it won't go straight. So if you bring your arm back and it goes out to the side like this, when you do the windmill, the ball will go that way. If you bring it too far back this way, you'll end up swinging the ball that way. So important thing to remember is just bring it straight back. And that's why I like to keep it simple. I don't like a lot of movement in the beginning, because that's what causes the ball to go haywire behind you. Keeping it simple, just bring it straight back. And then once you're at this point, you want to remember to kick off as far as you can, because that's where the power will come from. It's not about your arm speed. Well, it is about your arm speed, how fast you're having your arm around. Speed does come from that, but the majority of the power behind the pitch will come from your hips and your legs. So when you're at this point, it is okay to bend down just slightly, keeping your knees bent, and then you're gonna kick off. At this point, your feet can obviously leave the mound. It's just when you're winding up and going into the pitch, both feet have to be on the mound. At this point, this is the K position. And a lot of the warm-ups you'll be doing are from this position right here, and it's to allow for muscle memory. You want to make sure that when you're at this position, Your glove is facing the pitcher, your arm is straight behind you, and this will allow, when you're finishing your windup, for the ball to come across your body and follow through. So without the ball, what that will look like is this. And then you will follow through. Now, when following through, the wrist snap is the most important thing. It also allows for a little punch behind the ball, and from where you release it is the most important. You want to release the ball at your hip here. And a way to practice the muscle memory with releasing the ball at your hip is just to flick the ball into your glove like this. And if you do that enough times, you'll remember to do it when you're pitching. So, keeping it simple, bring it back, this, and then when you come down, you'll release the ball right here, you'll snap it into the glove, and then you'll follow through. And that is the basic fast pitch.
Ooh.
Catching it in his palm.
Go.
The second most basic pitch is a changeup, and it's almost identical to the fast pitch. The windup is the same, release is the same. The only difference is the way you're gripping the ball. So for a fast pitch, you're holding the ball around the seams like this, and your thumb is on the seam like that. But for a changeup, you're following the seams, but you're not touching the seams. You're holding the ball like that, you're not touching the seams, you're gripping it mostly with your fingertips, and a lot of the time people don't even let their palms touch it, because when you release it, you want to just open it up kind of when you're following through. So everything, you want to keep everything the same. You don't want to change your momentum, because the point of a changeup is to throw the batter off. You want them to think that you're throwing a fast pitch, so you're going to do everything the same. When you get to this point, you're going to snap the ball the way you would, but instead of snapping it, following through, you're kind of just letting it go. And the way the ball will look, instead of spinning towards the catcher, it's going to kind of lob and float into your catcher's glove. And the point of this pitch is to throw the batter off, and you'll get strikes.
Nice.